Welcome. For this video, we're going to go through and give you some ideas that you can use to sort of choose your new pair of shoes. With these criteria that I'm going to give you, it will be 3 simple ones. It's going to give you some idea of what to look out for and what not to avoid choosing. Okay, so we're gonna go through certain pair of shoes. Some of the pair of the brands you should know. So we're gonna go through some of them. Okay, so first one. Three ideas that we want, or 3 criteria that we want: the heel cup or the heel counter, the base of the shoe, the heel area, the toe box, the width, and also the toe box, the ability for it to be able to bend and be not so rigid, in the sense that if it's too rigid, you won't get really much movement in the forefoot versus the rear. Okay, so for first shoe, just picking up from whatever shoes we have here. We have about, how many shoes we have? About, I think five types of shoes. We're gonna go through all of them and give you some ideas on what to choose and what maybe to avoid. Okay, so the first one will be somewhat I usually use most of the time for most of my daily activities, walking and stuff. Okay, so for the heel cup, heel counter that we are going to be assessing and looking at is for it to be stiff enough, or in the sense it doesn't move too much. So the ground, we want to make sure it's stable and not say do too much inversion or eversion of the foot, or instability of the calcaneus that will lead the chain upwards that could affect things down the road. That's what we are not trying to look for, but we want a very stable and solid base for the heel cup. Okay, so if you look at the heel cup, when I press this in, it shouldn't budge a lot. It should still stay the same. That's what you should look for in a good shoe. Okay, this doesn't move or budge down. I'll show you another example that we can see the heel counter going in. So I'll just show you. Okay, when I press the heel counter down, it just caves in. It just drops. So there's probably little to no stability or the ability to hold the heel in that position when we strike the ground very well. Okay, so that's something you should look for. Okay, and the next one that we mentioned is the toes width, or the ability for the toes to rest in there nicely. For this one, it's quite decent. So when you put on your shoes, you shouldn't find that your toes are just beside the shoe, side by side. There should be space in between each of the toes. It should be comfortable enough that you don't have to take time to break into the shoes. So if you have to break into the shoes, that shoe is not meant for you, but rather the shoes should fit your feet because of the size, that you don't have to break it in, if that makes sense. Okay, and moving on from that, the width, make sure you have enough width, is the ability for the toe box to be able to bend. So what I meant is that is, can you do this? Okay, so for this shoe is quite decent, quite good. We can get this nice toe bending position here. So you think of pushing off during your gait, or you're walking off, you're pushing off, you need the ability to push off from here. So that's the whole idea of why we want a good flexible toe box here. And another one that I think I did mention, but what you can consider is that in relationship with the heel counter and the front of the shoe, the fore area of the shoe, right? Whether can you rotate and twist. Okay, so for this shoe, you can twist this way and you can twist this way. Not too bad, I would say. Decent, a little bit stiff, but I wouldn't say it's that bad. It's actually quite okay. So you can go left and right. So think of it here, is stable here, and I can be able to bend in and out in this position. That's what probably I will look for in the shoe. Okay, so based on that, I think 3 or 4 criteria that probably hit most of the criteria here. So I would use this as a good indicator for the rest of the shoe that we're going to test. Okay, so just keep in mind of that few criteria there. Okay, so next shoe. Okay, we're going to be using this pair of shoes. Okay, based on the appearance and the shoe, right? The appearance of the shoe, you can see that this is probably going to be looking quite stiff already throughout the whole shoe, based on the position and the make of the shoe. Okay, so let's try heel counter first. So let's try the heel counter first. If I press this in, you can see that this is a little stiff, but that is going to be doing a much better job if you see the difference again. Okay, so if I press this in, it goes in quite fast actually. When I press this in, little to not much. Okay, so this is probably again something that we are going to try to baseline off. Okay, but this probably not a no-go. All right, and the next thing that we want to look at is the toe box width. So we can't really see from the difference here, but these are the both same sizes. You should be able to see that this one here is actually a lot wider in the sense. But again, that one you have to base off not by appearance but by you putting your feet in and see how much space you have. Again, it should be a little bit of space in between all the toes. You want it nice and comfy and you don't have to break into the shoes. So next one, let's use the toe box one, the toe box flexibility test. So if I bend this, this doesn't bend at all. Okay, it does bend, not too bad, but it's a little bit more rigid than that for sure. We have a bit of movement. Not too bad, actually, not too bad. We have a little bit of movement, that's okay. Then we move on to the last bit, the rotation left and right without moving the heel counter side. So if I rotate this, there's little to no movement. So again, left to right, show you from front. It doesn't really go either side. It's sort of a rigid piece. It doesn't move left and right. Okay, so probably this is not what I would want to choose and also purchase for my daily use or my daily wear, right? Okay, next shoe. Okay, nice. So this shoe you saw earlier for the heel counter, this is definitely cannot make it, or I would say not cannot make it, but no, I wouldn't choose something for someone that needs more stability in the shoe or in the feet. Alright, so again, based on criteria wise, probably not. Then we go on to the width. This is definitely something that I will look for in a shoe. It's very wide, ability for my feet to spread and have space in between them. I don't have to break in the shoe. The next one we have is the toe box flexibility. This one again, hands down, so much flexibility, which is good. It's not a bad thing, but it could be too much. Okay, it could be too much. Next one we have the rotation that we want. For this one, if you look at this, when I rotate, everything goes together, in and out. Look at that. So like I'm squeezing the towel dry, I can rotate every single thing here. So in a sense, probably not very ideal for everyone. Not for everyone to wear this type of shoes in particular. Okay, because it could be a little bit too much give in this already. Could be. All right. Then we move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one, quite similar to the first two. So let's check the same principles out. Push the heel cup. Not too bad. This is quite good. Okay, this is quite good. Stiff. That's what we want. Next one, we look at the width. Again, the best way to assess the width is you wearing the shoe. Okay, so I will skip that one for this one. And then toe box counter. Oh, this is way rigid. Okay, this is way rigid than the first. In fact, the first this two is better. For this one is a little bit stiff as well. So this one, not really what I'm going to look for. Then we go for the twisting of the shoe. Not much give either. So this is a little bit more on the stiffer side. Okay, so the sole doesn't move as well with me. See this one? It doesn't really go. Okay, so I think that's the last one. We have one more. All right. Okay. Okay. This shoe. Some of you should know what's this shoe. Okay. Again, the same few principles I've been using, or the same few criteria. I'm sorry. Heel cup. Similar to this one here, it just goes right all the way in. Toe box. I'm sure this will be very, very good. We have a lot. Okay, a lot. Toe width, very wide as well. Perfect. Good for separation, especially with the individualized toe separation in between all the end of the shoe here. Okay, that's good. Then we have the rotation. Again, this and this, quite similar, I would say. You can go all the way through. Okay. So again, when we're looking for a shoe, we don't want too much. Okay, we don't want too much as well. I think some stiffness is good. Again, one's feet is going to be needing different things. Some might need more stability, some might need a little bit more movement, especially at toe box area. That's where you want more movement. Usually the heel component, we want it to be actually stiff and able to get the good strike into the floor. Okay, so based on all 3 or 4 principles or the criteria that I gave you here, we are going to think of that when you buy your new pair of shoes, and make sure, one more last tip, make sure when you get that shoe, right, you want to feel that it fits you rather than you trying to fit the shoe, if that makes sense. So in the sense that if you break into the shoe for a few weeks, few months, and then your feet get sore or you feel painful or blisters, right, that's probably not a shoe for you. So you want a shoe that fits you directly, and see how it goes. If you have any questions, just